Have you ever wondered what truly goes on behind the scenes when psychology meets the legal system? How do we understand the mind of someone who commits a crime, or assess the reliability of a witness's memory? These aren't just questions for TV dramas. They are at the very heart of forensic psychology, a fascinating and critically important field where psychological principles are applied directly to legal questions and issues. It's a place where understanding human behavior can profoundly impact justice. Today, we're going to explore the world of forensic psychology, specifically through the lens of research methods. If you've ever considered a career in this area, or are just curious about how psychology helps shape legal outcomes, you'll quickly see that a strong foundation in rigorous research isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. Forensic psychology is truly an interdisciplinary field. It's not just about sitting in a courtroom. It's about applying scientific knowledge, empirical data, and scientific rigor to bring objective psychological science into courtrooms and correctional settings. It draws from so many different parts of psychology: developmental, social, cognitive, personality, and even clinical, all under the umbrella of legal frameworks. So, what kind of questions do forensic psychologists investigate through research? The scope is remarkably broad, covering a wide array of crucial areas. One major area is criminal behavior and profiling. Here, researchers study crime trends, characteristics of offenders, their motivations, and even develop criminal profiles. Think about the early work of figures like James Russell, who contributed to some of the initial ideas in this space. Then there's risk assessment and recidivism. This involves evaluating strategies to predict the likelihood of someone reoffending or posing a danger. It's a vital area for public safety and rehabilitation efforts. Perhaps one of the most publicly recognized areas is eyewitness memory and testimony. How reliable is what someone remembers? Researchers investigate factors influencing accuracy, like stress or leading questions, and delve into the fascinating and sometimes troubling world of false memories and suggestibility. Pioneers like J. McKean Cattell and William Stern laid early groundwork, and today names like Elizabeth Loftus and Gary Wells are synonymous with groundbreaking work in this field. Another core area involves forensic mental health assessments. These are evaluations conducted for legal purposes, such as determining a person's competency to stand trial, their sanity at the time of an offense, or considerations during sentencing. We also have research into offender treatment and rehabilitation, looking at how effective psychological interventions are for individuals who have been convicted, and also for victims of crime. And it's not just about the offender or victim. Research extends to jury selection and decision-making, investigating the psychological factors that influence jury behavior and how expert testimony impacts their conclusions. The troubling reality of false confessions and interrogation techniques is another critical research focus. Why do innocent people confess? What interrogation methods are truly effective and which are problematic? Saul Kassan is a notable figure in this important research. Beyond criminal justice, research also examines the psychological effects of legal procedures like divorce and child custody, and delves into police psychology, focusing on stress management for officers, selection processes, and the overall psychological impact of law enforcement work. And looking to the future, threat assessment is an emerging scientific area focused on predicting violent acts, while cybercrime and social media research explores the psychological aspects of online offending and how social media influences criminal behavior. To navigate these diverse research areas, forensic psychologists rely on a strong foundation of core concepts and skills. This includes expertise in psychological and personality testing, ensuring assessments are valid and reliable. It also demands a deep understanding of ethical and legal frameworks, such as those provided by the American Psychological Association, or APA, guidelines, to ensure all research and practice is conducted responsibly. Crucially, it requires multidisciplinary knowledge spanning developmental, mental illness, social, cognitive, and personality psychology. You need to understand how the human mind develops, how social contexts influence behavior, how we process information, and the unique aspects of individual personalities. Many individuals have shaped this field, from early pioneers like Hugo Munsterberg and Alfred Binet to contemporary leaders such as William Marston, David Cantor, Scott Lilienfeld, and Jennifer Scheme. Professional organizations like the American Psychological Association's Division 41, which focuses on psychology and law, and the American Academy of Forensic Psychology are central to advancing both research and practice. And applied units like the FBI's Behavioral Science Unit leverage and contribute to these advancements through practical application, consultation, and specialized training, bringing theory into real-world impact. The field of forensic psychology is far from static. It's continuously evolving. We see emerging scientific areas like threat assessment gaining significant prominence, and the psychological aspects of cybercrime and social media becoming increasingly critical to understand. This continuous evolution, coupled with an increasing demand for empirically sound evidence in legal contexts, drives the adoption of truly rigorous research methodologies. Forensic psychologists don't just rely on intuition, they rely on data. The field employs a diverse toolkit of research methods. Historically, we've seen experiments, for example in early eyewitness studies, and a strong reliance on psychological testing. But today, forensic psychology is increasingly adopting sophisticated contemporary research protocols. A great example of this is the rise of mixed method studies, where both quantitative data, numbers and statistics, and qualitative data, rich descriptions and narratives, are used together to investigate complex issues. Imagine studying the efficacy of offender treatment programs, not just by counting reoffenses, but also by understanding the lived experiences and perceptions of those undergoing treatment. This trend reflects a broader shift across health and social sciences towards these multifaceted methodological approaches. It's crucial for investigating complex issues, like understanding the impact of environments on well-being, or the intricate dynamics of professional interactions in demanding settings. This methodological rigor isn't just an academic exercise, it's absolutely crucial for informing interventions and policies in legal and correctional environments, ultimately striving for better outcomes. Now, working at the intersection of psychology and law, forensic psychology naturally faces significant ethical dilemmas and methodological challenges. These aren't obstacles to be avoided, but rather important considerations that shape the field. Let's talk about some of the ethical dilemmas. One is confidentiality. Forensic psychologists often find themselves balancing traditional confidentiality obligations with legal demands for disclosure, which can be a very fine line to walk. Another is the issue of dual roles. The conflict between a therapeutic role, where the goal is healing, and an evaluative role, where the goal is objective assessment, can potentially compromise objectivity. Informed consent is paramount. Ensuring individuals fully understand the nature and consequences of forensic evaluations, especially when their freedom or future is at stake, is critical. And, of course, competence. Psychologists must operate strictly within their boundaries of expertise and adhere to legal rules. Bias and objectivity are persistent concerns. Cognitive biases, sympathy biases, or even adversarial allegiance biases, where a psychologist might unconsciously lean towards the side that hired them, can undermine impartiality. There are also historical and ongoing concerns about the misuse of psychological work, the potential for psychological knowledge to be used in unethical practices. And within research itself, transparency can be an issue, particularly with inadequate reporting of sampling and participant recruitment in some studies. Beyond ethics, there are also substantial methodological challenges and debates. For instance, the existence of unstandardized methods in some forensic evaluations can lead to reliability issues. If different experts use different approaches, can we be sure their findings are comparable? The reliability of memory is a fundamental debate and a core focus of research. It's inherently difficult to distinguish true from false memories, and researchers actively explore this through what are called false memory paradigms. Then there's the scientific validity of criminal profiling. Debates persist regarding its scientific solidity. It's often viewed as more art than science, especially given methodological flaws in some early approaches. And finally, cross-cultural applicability. General psychological principles developed in one cultural context may not easily translate across different legal systems and cultures, requiring careful consideration. It's also worth noting that public perception, heavily influenced by sensationalized media, often misrepresents the actual roles and scientific grounding of forensic psychologists. This leads to ongoing public questions about their true role in criminal justice, why false confessions happen, and the real effectiveness of offender rehabilitation. So, as we look to the future, it's clear that forensic psychology is an increasingly dynamic and vital field. The future will be shaped by public and professional interest in how technology, from AI to advanced data analytics, and evolving societal norms will continue to impact the field. Continuous advancements in research methods, coupled with a persistent drive for scientific validity and ethical practice, will be absolutely essential. This dedication will help us address complex legal questions, refine our assessment tools, and improve intervention strategies in a rapidly changing world, particularly as we delve deeper into emerging areas like cybercrime and threat assessment. Understanding the rigorous research that underpins forensic psychology helps us appreciate its true scientific contribution to justice. It's a field committed to objective truth, always learning, always adapting, and always striving to make a meaningful difference. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of research methods in forensic psychology. I hope it's given you a clearer picture of this fascinating career path.